Hi, I'm Haley Selleck, nurse practitioner at First Responder Health and Wellness, and today in 5 Minutes to Better Health, we're talking all about testosterone and why it matters in men and women who are first responders. Testosterone, as we know what it does, it's so important, but it plays a critical role in energy, strength, muscle mass, recovery, motivation, mood, cognitive performance, and cardiovascular health. For first responders, optimal testosterone levels are directly tied to job performance and long-term resilience. Testosterone is often framed as a men's hormone, and while men have higher levels, women also rely on testosterone for muscle tone, energy, mood stability, bone health, and everything similar to a male. When testosterone is off, regardless of sex, performance and recovery ultimately suffer. One of the biggest problems that I see in conventional care is that only total testosterone is checked. And while this is good, and it's a start, total testosterone only tells us how much hormone is circulating in the blood, but it does not tell us how much is actually available to your tissues. What matters most is free testosterone, the portion that can enter the cells and ultimately do the work. A person can have a normal or even high total testosterone level and still experience symptoms of low testosterone if most of that hormone is bound up and unavailable. This is often due to an elevated sex hormone binding globulin, or SHBG, which increases with chronic stress, poor sleep, inflammation, calorie restriction, micronutrient deficiencies, and aging. When only total testosterone is measured, patients are often told everything looks fine, despite symptoms, fatigue, poor recovery, decreased strength, mood changes, or reduced motivation. That's not a testosterone problem. That's a testing problem. Another critical point is that low testosterone is often not the root issue. It's a downstream effect. In first responders, some of the most common root causes of low or ineffective testosterone include chronic stress, cortisol dysregulation, poor or fragmented sleep, underfueling, high-intensity training without recovery, inflammation, insulin resistance, and nutrient deficiencies. When cortisol remains elevated for long periods of time, the body prioritizes survival over reproduction and repair. Testosterone production and signaling takes a back seat. This is not a failure of willpower, it is a physiologic adaptation. This is also why jumping straight to testosterone therapy, replacement therapy, without understanding the full picture can lead to suboptimal outcomes. If stress, sleep, blood sugar, inflammation, or nutrient status are not addressed, testosterone therapy alone may not resolve symptoms, and in some cases can really create some new imbalances and new challenges for the person. At First Responder Health and Wellness, we evaluate testosterone in context. That includes total and free testosterone, SHBG, estradiol, cortisol patterns, thyroid function, metabolic markers, nutrient status, women's sex hormones. This allows us to identify whether the issue is production, availability, signaling, or suppression from chronic stress. For women, low testosterone is often overlooked entirely, yet women experiencing fatigue, low motivation, decreased strength, poor recovery may also be dealing with testosterone insufficiency, often driven by the same stress and sleep disruptions we see in male first responders. The goal is not just to raise a number on a lab report. The goal is to restore function, resilience, and performance. Testosterone does not operate in isolation. It reflects how well the body is recovering, adapting, and ultimately regulating stress. In the next episode, we'll continue building on this by discussing how cortisol and testosterone interact and why restoring balance in one often improves the other.